This is Tagore Yadav Eragorla, Advocate, High Court. Today we are discussing a very critical topic, particularly to all government employees, be it state or central or public sector undertaking companies. Those who are having the entitlement of pension. Every employee who works for government, not just for the salary, but also for various benefits the government of India or the respective state is extending the benefits, which includes the pension. Pension gives a lot of security. Hence, though the employees are having various opportunities in the private sector, still choose the government job just for the sake of security. That security is in the form of pension. Unlike the private companies, the government companies are having an option of pension. As such, highly potential candidates, most talented people and having high ability employees prefer the government jobs. That is not only just serving the nation, but also serving the public. At the same time, employees do have protection of their post-retirement life. Within the pension benefit, there are various benefits to government employees under the pension scheme. Within the pension scheme, multiple benefits have been extended by the government from time to time. One of such benefits is commutation. Any government employee who is opting to commutation upon his retirement or her retirement would be 40% of his pension amount can be upfront surrendered and taken that amount as an advance. That advance amount has an option of using for any benefit, be it for the welfare of the family or the children marriage or higher education or whatever the debts that have been accumulated so far for the period of service that they have rendered. This is very critical and very important to each of the government employees in their life. In this regard, I wanted to emphasize 2 points to each of the government employees. One is whether they are entitled to take the commutation or not. 2, if they are entitled, what is the maximum amount that they can avail. 3, if they can avail, what is the mode of repayment. This is nothing but just like a loan that you take it against your own pension that is going to be availed. In this regard, various pension rules have been enacted by the respective state governments and central government, which says unanimously all the states central government says that 15 years of their pension amount can be adjusted or used for the purpose of repayment of commutation. I believe based on the data available, most of the government employees, when I say most of the government employees, more than 99% of the employees have been availing the commutation, because definitely that would be giving lump sum amount for various benefits. When they avail 99% of lump sum amount which they are entitled, they surrender 40% to repay that amount. Accordingly, when the commutation rules have been framed by the respective states, 15 years has been fixed for the period to recover. This 15 years payment, recovery payment, is based on 2 formulas. All the pay commissions from time to time assess, analyze the standard of living. Accordingly, pay commissions do give recommendations to the respective state governments. I am not saying that the pay commission recommendations have to be 100% verbatim followed by the respective states. But at the same time, when the pay commissions have been conducting the survey, research, taking the inputs from the government employees, taking the inputs from all sectors, they give recommendation on pragmatic view. When pay commission gives a pragmatic view to all the governments, it is a prerogative of the government whether to accept or not. If they accept, there is a genesis and basis to accept. But in case if they partially deny or partially amend, there should be a reason to deny, there should be a reason to amend. In this case, now we are going to discuss a very critical point of reduction of commutation percentage by all the states, including state of Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and also the state of Orissa more particularly. These states have been appointed the pay commissions, and pay commissions have been recommended. 9th pay commission has recommended that enhancement of salary. While enhancing the salary, they have also recommended a slight reduction in the percentage of commutation. However, the reduction is subject to the approval of the government. When I say reduction of the pay percentage, a commutation value, that comes along with the recovery also. Recovery would vary from state to state, depends upon the rate of interest that is prevalent as on that date. There were days the interest rates had gone to 14%, 13%. But today globally the rate of interest has come down drastically. Some of the developed countries are giving the loans at 1 or 1.5%. Like Japan, if we deposit money, we have to pay the interest to the bank. Some of the other developed countries like United States, United Kingdom and other states, they are giving the benefit of 2 to 3% of the rate of interest against the savings. Developing countries like India, our interest rates are relatively high, but when I compare the rate of interest from the year of 2000 to 2020, rates have drastically come down. At that point in time it was 13-14, today it is between 6 to 8%. If I say a few of the examples like Provident Fund, LIC, national schemes, these are all interest varying between 5 to 7. At the same time, say interest on savings would vary from 3 to 5%. Pensioners do have additional benefits. Pensioners do get 6% rate of interest against their deposits. Now the critical point which I am going to more discuss about when the employees upon retirement avail the benefit of commutation value, government will recover that amount along with principal and reasonable interest. When I coin it as reasonable interest, the same interest that has been given to all the other depositors. Today, when this 9th pay commission had been introduced, they have also recognized the fact that interest rates have come down, salaries have gone up. Accordingly, the percentage of the commutation has been reduced. When they have reduced, employees are entitled to repay the commutation amount along with the reduced interest. Unfortunately or due to inadvertently, government had continued to recover the amounts with the old rate of interest with the old formula of 15 years. That is not the correct position of the law. Rule 18, when it was introduced under the pension rules in the state of AP, Rule 10 in the state of Kerala, Rule 3 in the state of Madhya Pradesh, wherein the similar rules have been adopted by all the states. They say that when the commutation value is being decreased, the recovery period has to be proportionately decreased. It has to be a simultaneous coterminous. The moment outstanding amount which has been availed under the commutation value has been completely recovered along with interest, then the recovery portion from the pension should be coterminous. If it doesn't coterminous, any amount that is being deducted from that date onwards, it amounts to excess collection from the pensioners. Such excess collection from the pensioners is nothing but unjust enrichment of the government. that has been escalated to various secretaries of the respective finance secretaries of the states. Some of the states have considered to relook into and revise the policies and rules. Unfortunately, few of the states paid the deaf ear and not considered to revise. They continue to repay, they continue to collect it for 15 years. Aggrieved by the same, many of the petitioners had knocked the doors of the Honorable High Courts of the respective states. More specifically, particularly the state of Punjab and Haryana, retired pensioners had approached the Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana. Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana had first time relooked into this matter, gone in detail, and also the response of the state government, and it is a matter of evident that the percentage of interest has been reduced, a cumulative value that has been taken by the pensioners has been reduced. When these two have been reduced, recovery portion should be proportionately reduced. Accordingly, there is an order by the state government, and accordingly the Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana has given an interim protection to the pensioners that any amount that has been recovered should be stopped further recovery from the pension. Accordingly, a ballpark figure of 12 years has been fixed by the Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana. Subsequently, similar petitions have been filed in the state of Kerala. The Honorable High Court of Kerala at Ernakulam bench has decided that at the best it has to be 10 years 9 months, which includes principal and interest. It can't cross 11 years. With the interim directions passed by the Honorable High Court of Kerala, Kerala has come up with a revision of the rules. Accordingly, Kerala government has fixed this period as 12 years. Further, in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, when it was the state of Jammu and Kashmir, pensioners had approached the Honorable High Court of Jammu and Kashmir. Since the percentage of commutation value is relatively lower than the state of Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Orissa, the number of months that has to be recovered from the pensioners in the state of Jammu and Kashmir is relatively low. Therein, in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, government was able to recover the complete principal amount within 7 years. Along with interest, it is 9 years 11 months. Hence, the state government had revised the numbers. Consider that any recovery up to the period of 10 years is reasonable. Considering the facts on record, the Honorable High Court of Jammu and Kashmir has restricted the recovery of 10 years. When I say these multiple states, state of Gujarat, Kerala, Delhi, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Jammu and Kashmir, these states have already reduced from 15 years to the respective years. Some of them have reduced to 13 years, most of them have reduced to 11 years. A very few states like Jammu Kashmir has reduced it to 10 years. Today, a similar matter has been taken up by the Honorable High Court of Telangana. When this state of Telangana was part of the United Andhra, the rules were framed in the year of 1980. When the rules were framed, the commutation amount was 10.7%. Subsequently, as I explained to you, and based on the 9th Pay Commission recommendations, the commutation amount has been drastically reduced to 8.3%. Accordingly, the principal amount in the state of Andhra Pradesh and state of Telangana could able to be recovered within 9 years, including the interest within 10 years 9 months at the rate that was fixed in the year of 1980. Accordingly, and a prima facie, since the amount has already been reduced, there is an interim protection by the Honorable High Court of Telangana and also the Honorable High Court of Andhra Pradesh. Both division benches headed by the Honorable Chief Justice of the respective state high courts have been given an interim direction to not to recover the commutation amount from the pensioners, those who had completed 11 years 3 months, that is nothing but 135 months from the date of recovery after retirement. The genesis and the reason given on this 11 years 3 months is just basis on one factor, that is the reduction of commutation amount. In addition to that, petitioners in both states have relied on various other grounds. Based on those grounds, this recovery amount would be further reduced. When I say the other grounds, there are various grounds. The second critical ground is rate of interest. The current recovery of the commutation has been recovered based on the rate of interest at the rate of 12%. However, Honorable Apex Court of this country has recognized this. From the year of 2010, rate of interest has been slashed completely down to 7%. Hence, any amount, any interest that is recovered over and above 7% is nothing but unjust enrichment and a profiteering. No government, I believe, that wanted to have some unjust enrichment or the profiteering from the pensioners, because the pensioners have been recognized by all the set of departments, including the Honorable High Courts and Supreme Court. This section of people are weaker section. When I say weaker section, their ability of earning money would be drastically reduced, and the pension would be an amount, rather a statutory right to repay for the service that they rendered during their entire life. Hence, recovering more than 7% from the pensioners against the commutation amount that they have taken while retiring would be nothing but unjust enrichment. This is the second ground that the petitioners are relying upon. There is another critical factor. It is also an admitted factor, that life risk. Life risk around 1980s in India was at 57. Globally it was 60. In India it was 57. Subsequently, World Health Organization had conducted various surveys. World Health Organization has given an index of each country based on the conservative facts. World Health Organization in the year of 2010 given a revised life risk matrix. Therein, the life risk of an average Indian is 72 years. The life risk has been reduced drastically. Average age has been increased from 57 to 72. Changing of this life risk is based on various parameters. One is improved medical system in India. 2. Healthy habits of the individuals. 3. Food habits of the individual. 4. Living standards. 5th, employment opportunity. These 5 are the major parameters decided by World Health Organization. Based on this, the life risk index has been revised. I have a good reason to explain this life risk index. Reason is that governments, when I say governments, all state governments including central government, had not given any incentive to any of the pensioners. They are collecting the interest as it is being collected from any other industry or the borrowers. However, government had extended a good benefit to all the pensioners, that is the life risk. When a pensioner or an employee retires, upon availing the commutation amount, within the recovery period, earlier it was 15, now it is believed to be 11 years for all the pensioners, as decided by various states, as prima facie confirmed by multiple honorable high courts, that 11 years 3 months. Within this period, if there is an unfortunate situation takes place in the life of pensioner, and if such pensioner is no more, the amount that has been taken by the respective pensioner would be waived off. What it means? If a pensioner dies during this 11 years 3 months, for the balance amount he or she doesn't require to be paid. not even the dependents of the family. When I say family, family pensioners. Spouse is entitled for the pension. Spouse doesn't require to repay the commutation amount. This is the benefit that has been extended by all the state governments and the central government for the all pensioners who have availed the commutation amount. This change in the life risk has reduced the substantial risk of the state government. When I say substantial risk, nowadays most of the pensioners are happily and healthily living, and the age of 72 is almost an average to all the pensioners to survive. When they are able to survive, there is no risk to any of the state government. When there is no risk, the incentive that they thought of giving it to the employees have been reduced. Hence, in these three parameters, 1, reduction of the commutation amount, 2, reduction of the rate of interest, 3, increase of the average life of the pensioner, that means a decrease in the life risk. These three parameters, if we consider pragmatically, even if we take it conservatively, government can recover the complete principal amount within 8 years. If at all, if there is an interest, even assume or calculate the interest 7% per annum, which is generally the governments are collecting from the PF and LIC, that comes down to 2 years. Initial 8 years will be the principal amount recovery. Last 2 years will be the recovery of the interest, if at all government wants to recover the interest too from the pensioners. So, that 10 years period is more than sufficient to recover the amount along with interest. If at all, if government wants to consider to give some incentive on account of not having the life risk to the pensioners because the life risk index has been changed, that incentive can be considered 1 or 1.5% reduction in the rate of interest. That narrows down to 9 years including the interest. These are the major grounds in addition to the other grounds that various petitioners are relying upon. This is a factor why the petitioners are requesting the government and requesting the courts to consider to give a direction to reduce from 15 years to 11 years minimum. That means 11 years 3 months, that is 135 months from the date of it. These are the factual position. On the other hand, legal position which is prevailing in various states. I will take you all to the respective states. First, let me take you the state of Kerala. Kerala is always a forerunner to consider revise the policies from time to time. One of such policies that has been revised is commutation rules. Kerala has already reduced this 12 years not only with the directions of the Honorable High Court of Kerala at Ernakulam bench, but also amended the rules. Thereby, the period of recovery has been reduced from 15 years to 12 years. Now, it is a rule of law in the state of Kerala. When the rate of interest, which has been decided by the RBI from time to time, is the basis for reduction in the state of Kerala, why not in other states? Other states should be considered because the genesis and the basis for the rate of interest is only in the RBI rates. Since Kerala has already reduced to 12 years, other states can as well, without going into much of further survey, can be reduced to 12 years without going into that. If at all, the percentage of the commutation value is considered, Kerala pays higher commutation value relatively the other states. Like in the state of Andhra Pradesh state pays the commutation value at 8.3%, wherein in the state of Kerala it is slightly lesser than the state of Andhra and higher than other states like Orissa and Punjab. Hence, the period of 12 years is not sacrosanct. It period of recovery depends upon the amount that each state pays. All services including military, banks, corporations, public sector undertakings, wherever there is a pension scheme available, if they have a commutation value defined, arrived, that would vary from state to state, not the rate of interest, not the life risk. Hence, the formula is fixed. In view of this, I will take you through various judgments that had been rendered by the state of various states. including the Supreme Court Pay Commission Committee. And it is important to take you through one of the interesting report issued by second Pay Commission Committee formed by the Honorable Apex Court. Honorable Apex Court in their committee formed by Honorable Apex Court has conducted the survey and given their findings in their second report, stating that at any stretch of imagination it can't be more than 12 years. All of them should be fixed minimum of 12 years. Anything lesser depends upon the commutation amount that the respective state pays. For example, in case of Andhra Pradesh, it is 8.3, hence the commutation amount would be recovered along with interest within 135 months. Wherein in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, the commutation amount is slightly lesser than 8%, hence the state of Jammu and Kashmir can recover this commutation amount from the pension within 10 years, that is 120 months. 180 months is no more, 15 years is no more. So, 135 at the best in the case of state of Andhra Pradesh, 120 months in the case of Jammu and Kashmir, 12 years in case of Kerala, 13 years in case of Gujarat. Gujarat is 13 years because they do pay 10.8% as commutation amount, hence they do recover it in 13 years. Similarly, now this is the time where it is also equally important to rely upon the laws of the land and precedents, directions, could be interim directions, could be final directions or the revised policies.